Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Arrowhead Kingdom CHIEFScast with a special edition Chiefs vs. Cowboys episode. Allow me to introduce our guest today. He is an award-winning comedian. You've seen him present on the Daytime Emmy Awards. He's been on America's Got Talent. 17 million views. Eric, is that right? On Dry Bar Comedies?
25, but no, 17 on one video and 25 overall. But who's counting, Brian?
Oh my God, 25 million. That's a big country right there, if you ask me. Viral sensation and author of the book, The Richest Comedian You've Never Heard of. That link is in the description. Author, comedian, and friend, Eric O'Shea. Eric, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Brian. It's so good to see you again. I am so excited for the game, and I'm a little bit torn because I do have my heart for the Chiefs. This is going to be a tough one, but I'm going to give you a couple predictions, and we're going to have a little fun here, kind of going back and forth on what you think the game will be. I'm excited to be here.
Well, that's a good segue into my first question, because I know you're a diehard Cowboys fan. And you've been watching the Cowboys. I've been watching the Chiefs consistently over the years. And that was actually the first question is, how do you see tomorrow going? Give us maybe a rundown of what the season's been for the Cowboys so far, because I've not watched. I mean, this will be probably the first Cowboys game I watch all season as a casual NFL fan like I am. I follow the Chiefs religiously, but the other teams in the league, I'm not as obviously not as paying attention to. But I know you've been watching the Cowboys all season. So can you maybe sum up how they're doing and what we can expect tomorrow?
Yeah, and just to add some credibility, I'm a fan since '77. My dad went to the Super Bowl. He was not a fan. He just went with some buddies from his office work. So I still have the pennants of Dallas, Denver, when Craig Morton played on Denver, and Dallas had all those turnovers and they won the game. So, I mean, I go back a long ways. I'm wearing, this is 33. It's a Tony Dorsett shirt. So I've been following all the heartbreak. I've lived through the 90s with the Jimmy Johnson era and all the good stuff. I cried. I didn't want to go to school when Dwight Clark caught the pass from Joe Montana. And people always think the game ended there, and it didn't, because Dallas made it to the 50. And if there was a horse collar penalty, Drew Pearson he got pulled down by his neck back here, and that would have given Septien a field goal try, which we won't get into that. So there's a lot.
This goes back historical. This is historical.
It goes way back. So the thing is, I didn't want to go to school the next day. I was crying. This was just last week. No,
Chiefs had that with Lynn Elliott, by the way. Older Chiefs fans have that. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, when I look at Dallas, I know they're a hated team. I know that America's team, and they haven't proven anything yet. And I'm willing to hang on to that and hang my hat on that and still be a fan. Having said that, I think they finally got a defense. I think that finally, Romo and Des Bryant and they had the guy with the long hair that ran the ball, and then he got traded because he hurt. I forget his name off the bat. What a Cowboys fan I am. But I think that they just never had that defense, and they had to outscore teams 39-38 or something. I think this is the first time that a non-Romo team in this era with Dak now has a very good defense. They swarm like I've never seen. Everybody gets to the ball. I think that they use a rotating front four. I know that Randy Gregory will be out. But when you look at what Micah Parsons and Van Der Esch is doing, and I'm surprised they let go of Jalen Smith. But then you look at what that rookie's doing, Diggs, how he has that interception record going. I think it might have been broken last week. But so if you can get the middle to the back end and get some heat on Patrick, what he does, and he's admitted this himself, I'm not a hater. I love Patrick to death, and I'll show you something in a minute. He rolls out of the pocket too soon. And I think that's his mojo. That's what's gotten him the commercials and all the crazy circus plays and stuff. But he admits himself that he doesn't take the time to take the check down and maybe just go for the easy yardage than try to throw an interception to Tyreek Hill or Kelsey when they're double teamed. So I see this as being, the defense has to get to Patrick. It's not going to be easy. I've always been a little mad that ever since Kansas City got rid of Hunt, that, the whole hotel room thing and stuff, that really deflated them that year. I really think they could have won the Super Bowl that year. Because when you look at what Hilaire's doing, I think he's hurt. And you look at what Darren, Williams. I mean, and they got rid of the guy who was the Super Bowl MVP when they won 2 years ago. So their running game's kind of non-existent for me. And it just puts extra pressure on a guy that for some reason, either they figured him out a little bit and he rolls out too soon, and then he tries to do all these. I think that I see Dallas is going to try to keep Patrick to make those mistakes. On the offensive side, I don't know if you know this, but Amari Cooper has COVID. So he won't be playing, the next 2 games. I think that hurts them more than people think. I know that there's a guy named Brown who's going to come in and try to take his place. They still have CeeDee Lamb, of course. They still have Cedric Wilson, who's going to take his place. And they have Michael Gallup, who's the deep threat. I see them running a ton to try to keep Patrick off the field. I think that, by the way, it was a Barber. Marion Barber was that guy with Tony Romo. I remember they had a solid team. The defense was never there. So anyway, I think that when you look at Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard, who's really made a name for himself this year, as kind of a 1-2 punch, I think they may try to run the ball. Kansas City's defense is not that great against the run. Keep Patrick off the field, and I'll let you get a word in. And I think that it's going to be a type of game that's going to come down to mistakes once again, because they could both score, but I think it's going to come down to who capitalizes on turnover. Yeah,
that's a great rundown, Eric. Yeah, that's great, spectacular. That you pretty much said anything that was that we've been talking about over the last few weeks, talking about like the importance of the check down, kind of those shorter yards that are not so flashy, but that moves the ball down the field for the Chiefs, and getting in front of those. The Cowboys defense has been. I was saying it's a huge mountain to climb. Dallas has been on defense; they've just been on fire. I'm looking at the fantasy stats. The defense is playing very well. I think they're one of the top 5 defenses, I think, and going into this week in 2021. And so, having to get around that mountain. But you're talking about who is the cornerback you're talking about? They just recently there was a cornerback. Was it Trevin? Is his first name? Or
Trevin Diggs? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there's a lot of hype around him, and he's going to have to go. I think he's going to be matching with Tyreek Hill. We're going to see a lot of that. So I'm going to be paying extra close attention to that matchup because, Tyreek Hill is, I don't know if you've seen him play, but he's very fast. He is wicked fast.
He's unreal. I call him Minnie Mouse, Mighty Mouse, whatever, and he is. I mean, the thing is, what impresses me about Dallas this year, where I think as a Cowboys fan, and again, love the Chiefs. We will get to that in a minute. I look at the jet sweeps by Tyreek. I mean, he's this tiny little guy all over. But I think the way would impress me, not just, the front 4 has no names, and Dallas hasn't had a marquee sacker since DeMarcus Ware. But when you rotate Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence, and some OC, there's another guy that they do. And you have that linebacker and secondary core. They just swarm to the ball. So I think Dallas plays very physical. I think they're a defense that can get to anybody that gets their hands on the ball. And again, it's going to come down to turnovers, I think. And you're right. I think Diggs is going to have his hands full with Tyreek. And we'll see what the pressure does with Dallas's front 4. Maybe they'll blitz a little bit, try to get Patrick a little rattled. And he does such a great job at solving that mystery. But, if you double team Hill and you have a one-on-one with Kelsey, can Hardman step up? Can Pringle step up? He's going to need some people. This is going to be a great game. I have my prediction. We can do that at the end or whenever you want. But no,
it's going to be, if I want to go through the fantasy stats right now, I don't know. Eric, do you play fantasy football at all?
I don't too much. What's funny is for someone that loves sports as much as I do, and I could talk about the NBA like this and the Yankees and Lakers and go back in history, I'm like an almanac. But when it comes to present day players, I don't know why, for some reason, just never did it for me. And I like watching other people select their picks. I just never got into fantasy football. I like watching the games and kind of just.
Well, it's my first season doing fantasy football, and it's kind of helped me keep track of like who are the players to look out for based on like kind of what the fantasy points. I know it's not a perfect science system, but they have QB ratings, obviously the way ESPN does it or anything along those lines. But looking at the QB ratings, Dak Prescott is ranked 10th among QBs, but Patrick Mahomes is ranked first. Yeah. So, and 10th in a field of 30, 40, 60 QBs, 30 starters, I will say. Obviously he's on the top echelon, elite level. So that's why I'm looking forward to what do you think, a shootout or a defensive stand? You keep on you mentioned many times that it's going to come down to mistakes, but are you expecting like a high scoring kind of shootout situation?
I keep going back and forth, and what I think is that Kansas City has been playing so good last week against the Raiders, and I saw that game when I was in Vegas.
Oh yeah, how cool!
Yeah, so we almost went to the game, my friend and I, and she and I couldn't. Tickets were a little crazy, and just everything going on in Vegas. But
Cowboys coming to town for tickets. Going to talk about crazy tickets when the Cowboys come to town. Yeah, they go gangbusters big. And you guys make everything more expensive. But I'm sorry, I digress.
No, you're right. And the fact that the Cowboys in 1960, they became the the Texans went up to Kansas City, I believe.
I do know this. The Dallas Cowboys, when they come to town, like it's the nationwide show. It's like a national show, right? You're America's team, and everyone gets excited. And the Cowboys fans, I know, travel. So, but yeah, you were at Las Vegas, and you saw the Raiders.
I saw Kansas City play very well against the Raiders. And what impressed me was that their offense seemed to be clicking, but their defense, and in the beginning of the first 5 games, what's wrong with Patrick? When you're the face of the franchise, you're always going to carry the burden on your back. They weren't a very good football team these first 5-6 weeks. Their defense was terrible. They couldn't stop a nosebleed, as they say, and everybody was running through them. They seem to be coming together now. They're at home. It's a big game. But I think that Dallas, they have a big one over Atlanta last week, but that's the Atlanta Falcons. They can't do anything. So I don't see it as I see it as a middle of the ground game only because I see both defenses getting a little bit better. I see a little hiccups. I see a couple turnovers. I'll do my prediction at the end if you'd like, but I just don't think it's going to be 41-38, nor do I think it's going to be 10-7. It's not going to be that kind of defensive standstill.
All right. I think this is a good time to talk about, I'm going to call this segment Brian Tells Roast Jokes. All right. So I prepared 4 roast jokes for the Cowboys. You're a professional comedian, so I want to get your feedback on this. I see how this plays. We'll see how this goes. But this all starts off with this premise. This comes from, I think, a Dallas newspaper headline. It goes, "Don't let the opener fool you. The Dallas Cowboys have one of the NFL's easiest schedules in 2021. None of the 8 teams the Cowboys host at AT&T Stadium were over 500 in 2020. So turns out, you all have a very easy schedule. And I cross-checked it with all the other kind of stat checkers out there. You have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. So having said that, all right, this is my roast jokes attempt. Here we go.
I love it.
The 7-2 Cowboys are first in the NFC East so far and have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. If the Cowboys were a college student, they'd have a 3.7 GPA majoring in communication studies. Dallas's schedule is so easy.
How easy is it?
It rivals the main character, Debbie, in Debbie Does Dallas. That's pretty easy. All right.
Love it.
Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, Troy Aikman. I'm just naming off future NFL Hall of Fame broadcasters.
I absolutely love it.
I like when people say they like it but don't laugh at it.
No, I'm not a huge. Oh, wait, my family's going to love this that you just said that. No, I love it. I love it because you're so witty and we're such good friends that I can never get mad at you. That's the thing. It's like, Brian, how dare you bring that crap over here, buddy? It's like we're both of us. We're just
and for the audience listening, yeah, this is like how we write jokes. It's like we really don't laugh at it. Well, I laugh at Eric, but Eric's like, oh yeah, I like what you did there. I like your play. He's like a science, like a comedy scientist, dissecting everything.
And for the people at home, just I got to say, this guy. See, I do more act outs, like more faces, and I act out different situations, and that's a lot of the humor. This guy is a genius. He can just write words. I've always been amazed at how you do it, Brian. Like you can just sit there, stone faced, and write words and do well. So keep them coming. I'm loving it.
All right. Okay, hold on. I got one more here. Okay. This one's a bit wordy. I don't think I didn't edit this one very. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. Here we go. Dak Prescott has shown so much potential with less than great output. He's been with the Cowboys since 2016, and they only have one playoff win to show for it. It sounds crazy, but he was 2 years old the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in '95. Just think, there's a 2-year-old future QB out there watching him right now who will also grow up to be a huge disappointment for the Cowboy fans. Or as I like to call it, Tony Romo syndrome.
Hey, you left him out of the broadcast. No, you didn't. You brought. My favorite one was the Hall of Fame. That was fantastic.
Oh, thanks. The I remember writing that. I was like Dak Prescott. Like I remember like how impressive Tony Romo. He's fun to listen to on football, right? He's fun to listen to like on what's it called on the broadcasts, and he's also a really good golfer. I'm like, I don't think he's won. Did he win one playoff game in all his years in Dallas?
Well, yes, I think. Well, the one where did he catch the ball or not catch the ball in Green Bay? And obviously they had to change the rule after because he did catch it. I don't think that would have put them ahead, but it would have tied the game. I think someone may want to check me on that. But no, he was very good. Like I said, I just didn't feel that, again, when you're the quarterback and especially the face of the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, it's all on you. I mean, it's not on the secondary as much. It's not on that one weak linebacker who drops into coverage. It's on Romo. And he had 1 year with that really good defense. And that's when the Giants went all the way. I don't know if you remember that. They won all those road games and then they beat the Patriots. I think that was 2011.
Oh, was that Eli Manning's year?
That was Eli's second one. I think they went through Dallas to start. Then they went, and that's when Tom Coughlin's face was like frozen up in Green Bay. And the Giants kicker kicked the field goal and they went on to then, yeah. So it might have been 07 or 11, but I thought it was it's one of the two. But he's never had a defense that I think was like this. Now, here's my thing. You know, I'll always say, do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, Dallas? No. There's going to be something. And, you know, Stephen A. Smith gets off on it and he wears the cowboy hat and he loves to tease them on TV every time they mess up. So I'm prepared for that. I think they could go to the championship game, but NFC is stacked. Arizona's good. Tampa Bay is good. I still have, you ready for this? I still have Tampa Bay and Tennessee in the Super Bowl.
Tennessee Titans. Yeah. I
have Tampa. You want to talk about the easiest schedule, and I'm not the biggest Brady guy and how luck always falls in his favor, but he joined a stacked team with not only Hall of Famers, but all pros, and he still plays well himself. So but he's never been in a real Jacksonville or even like a medium Seattle Seahawks situation. He's always had a good coach and a sick defense, sick receivers, very good running game, and he's good, Tom. So the thing is, you know, schedule-wise, I think it favors Tampa Bay. They have 2 bad games left where they could have a hiccup. I think it's Buffalo, but they're all at Tampa. So I see Tampa, and the fact that Tampa beat Dallas already, should their record be tied, I think that Tampa should be.
Cowboys gave him a good run though. That was like pretty close, sure, right?
Did. Yeah, but you know, there's that one phantom pass interference thing that they didn't throw the flag, and it could have gone either way. I saw the play over and over. I watched it. It wasn't an easy one to say, but things like that always go in Tom's favor. And I think that, you know, would you rather see Dallas in the Super Bowl or Tom? So I think, you know, the ratings are there too, and they're important. And look what they did last year against the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. I remember. I won't forget that. It's hard you'd have a hard time finding any Chiefs fan going to the Super Bowl last year thinking that Mahomes would not throw a touchdown. Almost as surprising as when we played the Tennessee Titans, not scoring a touchdown during that game. As we were expecting with Ryan Tannehill, we were expecting a huge shootout, high scoring game. Well, they did the shootout. They scored the high points, but we did not keep up. But hopefully that's going to change.
You're right, and this sounds terrible. I'm not saying they took such an emotional beatdown that but their identity hasn't completely been there. I know there's been some injuries. Patrick's been off. I'm not saying they haven't recovered from last year's Super Bowl, but there's just something where I go, I don't know. There's just something off with these Chiefs. They redid the whole offensive line.
Yeah, that was the big one. The offensive line rebuilding. We covered it very closely through the offseason. But yeah, the offensive line with Orlando Brown and Tooney and we have a center who is Creed, who is like one of the best rookies. He's been spectacular work in that position. But yeah, now the situation is they said something along the lines that, though Mahomes didn't throw hardly any interceptions in the last few years, he had the most tipped or they dropped interceptions, right. And that can't stand forever. I think it's finally coming back to haunt. Like, okay, well, he does still miss the beat every once in a while. Now the corners and the defenses are hanging on to it, and we're having that situation. And but after last game, you did see kind of that the Mahomes that we've come to love over here in Kansas City with the high scoring kind of routes of putting up 40 against Las Vegas. And but what I do want to know, I do want to say, after the Super Bowl, we were just so big on make that offensive line, protect the QB, protect 15. And they seem to be doing that. They seem to give them the time. I think what you said earlier, I agree with. Like, we need to do more checkdowns, more of those short pass. We did that well against the Ravens, even though, and the Ravens was one of those situations where we fumbled away in the last seconds. We were right in field goal range to put it away. Didn't work out, lost the ball. But we've been running it effectively. I've seen against the Chargers as well, this check down throws, like quick yards that way, as opposed to these big flashy, ESPN top 10 Sports Center highlight reel kind of things. But that's what we got to do to win this game. And I'm expecting to see that because we have a tough defense coming up against Dallas. So I would expect more of that kind of check down situation going on, and seeing how Tyreek takes on Trevin. But I'll be paying extra close attention to that matchup with them going on. But with that said, you pretty much got into it. Like you were talking about earlier, like, are they a Super Bowl level competitor? But you're thinking maybe NFC Championship. They might make a lot of noise in the post. You're expecting a lot of noise to be made in the playoffs. Is that right?
I'm expecting them to make some noise also because, their division in the East is weak. Washington, the Giants, and Philly aren't going anywhere. Arizona and the Rams and Seattle they're going to beat each other up. Tampa Bay has a cakewalk. I think if Green Bay is going to wrap up that. If Green Bay and Arizona are not careful, you're not going to see. I mean, that was a hiccup, boy. Tampa Bay losing to Washington last week. So the fact that they have to stay ahead, if Tampa gets home field advantage, I think that's going to be it for the everybody, really. They're just too good of a team, and they always turn it on the second half. To answer the Dallas question, I think they'll make some noise in the playoffs because they are just a good team. To answer Kansas City's concern, and you touched on this, let me ask you, and I'm not being a wise guy or facetious, who was the difference maker when they won 2 years ago? It wasn't Patrick as much, and I say this all lightly. It wasn't Tyreek or Kelsey. The defense did it was a running game. It was the guy they got rid of that really cemented. Here's what I see the problem, and I'm trying to make a point. I could be wrong, but here's what I see with Kansas City. First down, they run the ball, they get 2 yards. Second down, they try something incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 8 all the time. And what happens is Patrick rolls out of the pocket, and then you question, is this new offensive line really doing their job, or is he just abandoning them too soon? And then he's trying to do all these circus plays that he's known for. Then he throws in double coverage. I'm seeing a lot of first and second downs go to waste. Why? I'm not saying you need Derrick Henry on your. Everyone would love a Derrick Henry. Everybody would like a Hunt or a Chubb, the guy in Cleveland. That they need, Brian, a running game. They need someone that can move the sticks on first down. I'm talking not just get to make it a third and 1, 3rd and 2, but they're in third and longs, and I just don't see them sometimes keeping up with that. I get that. They become one-dimensional, I think. And then, when Patrick rolls out, that's what I think their problem is. So I've always said this. I don't know why they got rid of that guy, but they tried with Edwards-Helaire, then he got hurt. I don't know if he was the answer either, but I think they need someone just to bulldog somebody. And look, they did it with Hunt, right? Or 2 years ago, did they have Hunt? Kareem Hunt?
I believe so, yeah. Before, I think he plays for the Browns now, if I recall correctly.
Or just they need a guy with some toughness just to get, okay, on first down, they got 8. Or maybe he got a first down on. I don't see many first downs on the running game. And I know Andy Reid loves to throw, and I know he loves kind of some gadget plays and stuff, but I think that's what's missing for the Chiefs. It was missing for them last year in the Super Bowl. And look, I'm a fan of them too. And
I like that. Well, you mentioned that jet sweep that they get to Tyreek Hill, who's not a running back. He's a wide receiver, but he tosses to him. He's so fast, and they've been running that consistently over the last 10 games. And that the Dallas defense is knowing that's coming. But Nick Nolte in Blue Chips, what do you say? He's like, I don't care if they know the plays. I'll write them on a nice card and give it to them. It's how you execute the plays that matters to me. And we'll execute the plays, and they'll know they can have the playbook all they want. We're going to execute it better than anyone else. So,
but that's what they need. That's what they need. They need a Nick Nolte type of runner. They need somebody that just jams it down. Like, it's coming, try to stop it. And that's what they had with Kareem Hunt, and that's what they had with the guy that they let go. Just somebody to get him out of that 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 all the time, almost salivating, because you tell me, as a Chiefs fan, I know 3rd and 9. Now it's time for to do it, and it gets exciting because a pass is coming, and it's going to be some sort of crazy play that's going to.
You'll see when we see that tomorrow. You'll probably see. I mean, I've seen it consistently over the last actually years, but last 10 games. But that's more of a Mahomes scramble situation because they go deep, they go hard against that, and the secondary gets away. And Mahomes, and I mean, obviously he's what is he? He's worth $500 million. Okay, let's scramble so much because we need your arm, we need your playmaking skills. But I suspect if we get into that situation, you see more. If we're not running the ball effectively, Patrick tends to tuck and run a little bit more. I think he's been doing a little bit less lately, but we'll see what happens with that. But you're right. I'm looking at the fantasy stats. Ezekiel Elliott is 30th in terms of running back numbers, and our running back is like 71st. Darrell Williams, he's in that fantasy points right now. And I mean, you're
Darrell. He's just not. I just don't think he's the answer. You don't need a Hall of Famer or like an All Pro like a Derrick Henry. You just need somebody in some combination to move the stick so that you're out
yards,
of the
5 yards, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Is that the phrase? Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, and I just don't see that happening, and all the pressures. And I don't think his confidence is there after the Raiders game. But I think, should he hiccup a little bit early on and throw an interception? I just feel like there's so much pressure on him. The contract, the lack of a running game, and he's not feeling himself. And I think that's a lot on him.
All right. Okay, I do have one more question. We've been at this. Sure. It's been a lot of fun, Eric. I like the pace. We have a good vibe going here, I think. I hope you feel.
I do this all day.
So tell me, what should the Chiefs be most worried about tomorrow? And what do you think that should be? What should they be most paying attention to make their to get the W? If you're the Chiefs, what are you most worried about playing the Cowboys?
Probably the physicality of the game, and I know that's kind of a subjective term. Like, what does that really mean? I didn't really say anyone's name. I didn't call out anyone's number, but I think the physicality, Dallas is going to bring that. I think Kansas City has to match that because Dallas is going to bring it on the defense, and they're not trying to hurt people, but that old expression, they're just going to bring it. So I think Kansas City has to be ready for that. I think Kansas City has to get a little bit of a running game going. I think Dallas will run the ball with their two-headed monster, and when it's time for back to throw, although I think missing Cooper is going to hurt. That's why I think the game will be closer than it should be. Still haven't given my prediction, but I will. Yeah. And look, I have to do this because this is the last one. I think the key to Kansas City winning this game is Patrick not turning. That's it. We should do this every week. The key, I should mail this to you. The key for Patrick, avoid those turnovers. Look, fumbles are going to happen because Dallas hits you hard, right? They're going to come at you. I think they might force a fumble or two, but Patrick has to end the game. Maybe 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think if they win. And I do have a Kansas City shirt. I don't know if you know, I'm not a jogger, but I could jog to the Kansas City.
Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's fancy.
They won the right down the streets. I'm giving them a plug. It's called Pub Rock, and it's a dive bar, and they have TVs outside and food trucks come. So when Kansas City won 2 years ago, my mom and I were there, and we were huge Mahomes fans. And ready, everyone out there in Bryan land? I still am a huge Chiefs. I love them. I root for them. Obviously, this week it's Dallas, and if Kansas City wins, I'm not going to go like it was Washington or Tampa Bay or someone or the Giants.
I vouch for that too. He does text me and does send me messages whenever the Chiefs are doing well. Same thing with the Royals. He'll send nice things to me when the Royals are doing well.
Oh, when they won, and by that Royals team was the best team that put a bat on a ball. They didn't hit a lot of homers, and Salvador Perez was great, but everybody just constantly put a bat on the ball and move the runners. I've never seen a World Series team do that and just play small ball like that Royals team in 16. Anyway, I think the Cowboys have a very good chance of winning. What is your prediction? I'll give you mine.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the home team. Obviously, I'm hoping, and this is not only just me hoping it'll happen. This is me thinking the Chiefs will pull it out. It's going to be close. I think there's a 2.5. I don't know who has the favor, but I think it's a 2.5 point spread. There's an over under around 56.5 points, so they're thinking highest scoring game. I'm thinking it's going to be under that, quite frankly. So I'm thinking, I'm hoping it'll be, I'm going to go with 28-24 Chiefs.
That's very similar to mine. I have 26-24 Chiefs.
Oh, you do? You're thinking the Chiefs are going to pull it out? I
do. I think something's going to happen there where Dallas may be a little frustrated on the passing game. I think Kansas City's defense is going to surprise people. It might come down to one play or two, but I would not be surprised if Kansas City pulls it out. 26-24.
It's also in Kansas City, so can't forget that the home crowd there is loud. So, all right.
Didn't talk about Dak's ankle, but you're absolutely right. Who knows how, anything can happen. I just think the Chiefs on paper have a little more going for them than the Cowboys, and they're due for a stinker.
Yeah, well, I hope what I think the key probably for us is I hope our defense shows up and puts the pressure on the Chiefs, the Cowboys offense, and because Dak is going to meet our secondary in terms of passing, we're going to see how our pass defense goes against the Cowboys there. So I'm hoping our defense has to show up. But you're right, they're going to be physical. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, Eric O'Shea, thank you for joining us today on the Arrowhead Kingdom CHIEFScast podcast. Thank you. Do you have anything else? Any parting shots? Any parting thoughts you want to say before we go?
Yeah, I do. Everybody, you're all watching Brian. I've known him for a long time, and we've talked about this. I won't embarrass him. He is one of the best all-around guys in Chiefs, not only Chiefs fan, but best all-around guys. This has truly been an honor, and I could do this with you every week if you'd like.
Well, absolutely. Thank you, Eric. The kind words. You're a fantastic person, a great friend. We got to get you back here. We got to talk some more football. It's been a lot of fun. And with that, go Chiefs. And I'll give you one. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
I like it too, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. Thanks all. Good luck.